new freshman Republicans across the country who were elected. And we have focused, I think, on changing the debate in Washington from how much are we going to spend to how much are we going to reduce spending. We have focused on eliminating earmarks, we've focused on greater transparency, and we have focused on the economy and jobs. Just as of this week, we've got about 40 jobs-related bills that have been passed in the House, many of which bipartisanly, that we've sent to the Senate. We're obviously waiting action from the Senate on a budget on many of these bills. But it's clear that people want us to focus on the economy. They want us to work together in a bipartisan way to get things accomplished on behalf of New Hampshire and the country, and that's where my focus is going to continue. Well, I think the country wants to see something very, very different than what this administration has offered. This administration talked about reducing the debt and deficit, getting the economy going again, and I think what this class symbolizes is a recognition across the country that people want frugality in government, that they want taxpayer dollars used effectively and efficiently, and they want legitimate oversight over how those dollars are spent. And they do want change in tax policy to be flatter, more simplified, to get the economy going. We need to have focus on a pro-growth agenda. Right now we only have a 1.8% increase in GDP because of the policies that are currently in place by this administration. And that's got to change. We need to see 5 to 6% growth. And the way you do that is reduce your spending, reduce your debt and deficit on the federal level, put policies in place that are going to foster growth, meaning change tax policy, make it flatter and fairer, and ensure that the bureaucracy of Washington is minimized and that the size and scope of government is minimized and reduced. And I think that's a reflection of New Hampshire. Join in the frustration that people have in this country with how Washington is operating. We're not used to that in New Hampshire. I've worked in a bipartisan way as a state rep, as an alderman, as a mayor, and we got things done. And people watch Washington and they see the bickering and they're angry because people are concerned about their job, people are concerned about their economy, and the opportunity that they have for themselves and their family. So, I'm very proud that I have joined with other Democrat colleagues in focusing on economic issues, particularly the fisheries issues on the seacoast, working with Barney Frank from Massachusetts, in filing sensible legislation that protects our fisheries industries, that protects our economy, and people ought to do more of that bipartisan work. We do that here in New Hampshire. And Washington needs to understand that lesson, and that's a reflection, I think, that is frustrating in the country, something that I join in, but I'll continue to work bipartisanly on my committee assignments as well as on legislation that's going to be favorable to New Hampshire. Focus, just like I was 2 years ago, on what people in New Hampshire asked me to do, and what that is a reflection of New Hampshire values, which is reducing spending, focusing on the economy, and making sure that we have a pro-growth agenda. That's what I'm about. That's what I did as a mayor of the state's largest city. That's what I focused on this term, and that's what I think people want to see. And I'll continue to focus through this campaign and into the second term on making sure that that agenda is the agenda that the country passes. Well, when you look at first, when the president had a Democrat Congress, they had options to do anything they wanted. They focused on the Affordable Care Act, which obviously the majority of the country opposes. We're going to see some finality to that legislation later this month, and then the real work begins to try to put free market positions in place so we can reduce costs of health care, both for employers and employees. Secondly, it is frustrating. Now, in the House of Representatives, we have, again, 40 different jobs-related bills that have passed. Almost all of them passed bipartisanly. That's significant. And we have to continue that focus on trying to find bipartisan solutions. Now, the Senate isn't quite there yet, but we need leadership from the President of the United States. As far as I'm concerned, I will work with anybody who has a similar idea and a similar focus on the agenda that we need for the country. But the fact that we've passed 40 jobs-related bills, most of which bipartisanly in the House, I think is indicative of the fact that we are willing to work across party lines and focus on America first, the country first, rather than partisan politics.